What's up everybody, DeathKontrol here. Today I wanted to make a video showing you my full game strats for Over the Raybow and kind of explaining what I'm doing in that stage. Over the Raybow is known as being a pretty chaotic and inconsistent stage, and it's a pretty big reset point in runs. Some of you may have watched my IL for that stage and maybe trying to replicate some of my movement there. But my IL strats are really aggressive and inconsistent, and I've definitely made some adjustments to use in full game runs. And I can pretty consistently get about a 19 or 20 if everything goes right. On screen right now you're seeing some relatively typical runs. So what I wanted to do is show you an example of like a pretty ideal run with full game strats as an example of kind of everything working out right. And then I'm going to break down exactly what I'm doing and what I'm thinking about so that hopefully you can implement some of these strats and then maybe get some gold splits for yourself and hopefully have to reset on this level a little bit less. So with that, let's jump into it. Alright, so here it is. So first thing, we're going to get some speed, do the shell jump, and then we're going to build up speed at the beginning here, do some jumps, jump over this first B, jump over the second B, one more jump, do this little roll here, another roll, build up a little more speed, jump over the pip wheel, bounce the pip off the platform, one jump, two jumps, three jumps right into the goal, and just like that we got a 19.1 and dance it out, and that's the level. Alright, so let's go to the start and let's go ahead and break down what's happening. So from the beginning here, first thing is remember you're going to actually enter this level as checkers coming out of Honey Hop Hollow. You should enter this level as checkers. First thing you're gonna need to do is swap, and you want to just hold your swap button and buffer the swap, and swapping freezes the entire game, so it's not going to mess up the cycles or anything. And so then you're just gonna swap to marbles. And then first thing you're gonna do is of course just do a spin dash, build up speed, and then what you do at the very beginning here doesn't matter that much. I like to do a big jump, and then I like to roll off the platform and piggyback right here. Now, I haven't actually tested this scientifically or anything, but just going off of feel, I believe that piggybacking while you're still on the ground loses a tiny amount of speed. So I like to make sure that I get off of the platform before I piggyback so that I'm not losing speed. I'm not 100% certain about that, but just going off of feel, this is what I like to do. But it is important to make sure that you don't go too far, because if you go to maybe about this point or so, then it will spawn in the first Raybow and then you will miss it. So if you go too far, what's going to happen is by the time you get here, this Raybow is already going to be way too far and you're not going to be able to land on it. You're going to have to flap to land on it. It's going to mess up the whole cycle and it's not going to work. So you need to make sure that when you do this piggyback off the platform, you're like immediately off the platform. You really can't go too far. So you're going to do the piggyback, you're going to do the shell jump, and then you're going to land on the first Raybow. Now here specifically, I go for 6 jumps, 6 boosts, and for each boost, I try and just do sort of like a quick roll and a quick jump. I try to do a roll before each one. I'm not sure exactly what the technique is for getting the boost. I'm not sure if there's a way to jump off without getting a boost. I don't know exactly how it works, but this is completely consistent for me. I buffer the roll and then buffer the jump. For me, it's very helpful to not have my flap on either of those buttons, so I can just buffer roll and then buffer jump, like before landing, and then I'll just always get a roll jump. I'm pretty sure that that works. That's kind of what I recommend doing. But the route that I take here is very specific. So I'd go on number 1, 3, 5, then there's a gap. So 6, 8, and 10. And then from here, do a big jump to get over the B, like that. And in this instance, I didn't have to flap, but sometimes I have to flap a little bit to make it to the next part. Now, it's possible to get 7 boosts here, and if you do get 7 boosts, you'll get extra speed, and that's what I did in the IL. If you want to go for 7 boosts, what you're going to do is you're going to go from 1 to 2, and then you're going to go from 2 to 4, and then from 4, you're going to skip 5, and then you're going to go directly to 6, and then you're going to go to 8, and you're going to go to 10, and then you can do a small jump, and then you can go to 11, and that's how you get your 7 boosts, but you're going to get a lot of extra speed doing that, and I find that to just not be consistent for a full game, so I just go for only 6 boosts. That's what I recommend doing. Feel free to experiment and find what you're comfortable with. Okay, so going back, we're just going to be here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's important to get very comfortable with the jump heights here. So this first one needs to be like a big jump to get from 1 to 3, and then another big jump. Then this one needs to be a really small jump. If this is too big, that pip is going to hit you. Then you need to do another small jump. If that's too big, you're going to end up on this platform, or that bee is going to hit you. Then you need another small jump, or again, you're going to end up on the platform. And then this one, you need to know that the bee is over there and that you need to do a big jump to get over it. This Raybow right here is not safe. If you land on this Raybow, you're just going to get bounced. You're going to lose all your speed, and then either you have to do the level slow, or it's probably just faster to retry at that point and try and get the fast strat again, or you're just resetting your run, depending on what you're going for. You can also bounce this bee, but that is going to set you up very poorly, because bouncing this bee, if you high bounce, you go into this one, and if you don't high bounce, then it's going to set you right up to crash into this bee. So you really want to make sure that you avoid that one. All right, now what happens after you clear this bee? After this one, you have 3 safe platforms you can land on. You can land on any of these, it really doesn't matter. Any of these 3 is completely fine. You're gonna land on one of these 3, and you're gonna jump again, and you're gonna clear this bee. All right, and then here I had to flap. Flapping is fine. You can flap here, and then here you have 2 safe platforms you can land on. This one's not safe, because this one, if you land here, you're gonna get bounced. And then again, you're gonna lose all your speed. You don't want that to happen. So again, you can bounce on this bee, but you really don't want to, because it's gonna completely mess up your position. So what you wanna do is, again, land on one of these 3 right here, one of these 2 right here, it doesn't really matter which, and then you're gonna clear this bee, and then in the aisle, I got another boost off of these. You can boost off of one of these if you want, but in full game, I'm not going for that. All right. And now you really want to aim for this guy right here. You can land on this one too, but you really want to aim for this one right here. And this is the key to my sort of full game consistent strats right here, is that this next part after the checkpoint is really difficult. What I do in the IL is these 2 white bees are really kind of a menace. And what I do in the IL is I do another jump, because the jump gives you a boost, and I jump between them, but it's really precise, it's really difficult. This roll right here will just get you cleanly right between them, and you can just roll. You can actually roll all the way to this one, but you can just roll cleanly between them. It's very easy, and as long as your speed is within a certain threshold, which as long as you've done everything previously correctly, you'll pretty much always have the right amount of speed. You'll just always go through. You'll just roll across these Raybows, being that, like, having some of this roll be midair, the roll will kind of always extend, and so you don't have to worry about your roll just randomly ending. Your roll's not going to die, and your roll's just going to extend across, and you'll just always clear between these bees. And now here, this jump right here, let's see. Oh, so I did actually go this far. All right, so this jump right here, you need to do a tiny little jump. You want this to be like a min-height jump and then a little bit of a flap. And if you jump too high, you're going to crash into this one, but the key is you need to get over this bee right here. So this needs to be a tiny little min-height jump. Basically, you want to go over these 2 Raybows, and you want to go between these 2 bees, and then you can land back on this one, or landing on this one is fine, because you need to get under this one with the next roll. That's what this roll is for. Again, in the aisle, I jumped over this one. But here, we want to do a roll under this bee, and we're going to roll under it, and then we want to clear this one, so we're going to do one more jump. The roll is actually just going to make it over that, so this guy's not even a threat. So we're going to do one more jump, and then this is just an extra boost. So we're going to do one more boost here. Now we want to do a relatively big jump, because our goal here is on this slanted platform. We want to get to the top of this platform, because from the top of this platform, we can jump over this pip wheel. Now, if you have too much speed here, sometimes you will just clip through this slanted platform, and that was a big issue for me in the IL, was clipping through this platform. Now the biggest problem is sometimes you'll just go straight into this bonus, and that will pretty much just completely kill your run. To exit the bonus, that loses time, and then you lose all your speed, and it's just a bad situation. Sometimes you can clip through and you'll go over the bonus, and then you'll end up down here with the Raybows and you can keep boosting, and that's actually kind of helpful. I think what I did in the IL is I actually went over and I actually dropped down here and then I kept boosting. But for full game consistent, I don't want to do any of that stuff. I want something that's easy and consistent. So what I want to do is I want to land on the top of this platform so that I can clear the pip wheel. If you land too low, like if you land down here and you try and jump from here, you're going to just crash straight into the pip wheel. That's not going to deal you any damage, but it's going to kill all your speed. And if that happens, if you lose all your speed, what you want to do is you want to come right over here and you want to go right up there into the barrel of shame. So what that is just going to launch you through the music track for this level, and it's just going to launch you all the way to the end. But if you lose all your speed, doing that is going to be way faster than trying to finish the level with no speed. It loses about 6 seconds, but you will be able to just continue your run. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that much time loss. And so if anything happens earlier in the level and you can make it here without losing that much time, like if you take damage in your solo checkers, just go up there, take the barrel of shame, and then go back to Honey Hop Hollow, get the buddy bubble, and then just go play BB Battlefield. It's not that big of a deal. You lose 6 seconds, maybe 3 more from having to get the buddy bubble, and just go play BB Battlefield. But assuming you do everything correctly, you're going to land on this corner, you're going to jump over the pip wheel because you don't have too much speed, and then from here, what I'm trying to do is flap, and I'm trying to land on this pip. I'm trying to bounce off this pip. Now for this bounce on the pip, what I need to do is flap, but I don't want to be holding jump, because if you're holding jump and you high bounce, guess what? You're going straight into the cobby. You don't want that. So you want to do just a min height jump, and then you want to keep flapping because you want to land right on this platform right here. So you're going to do that min height bounce. You're going to land on this platform, do another jump. Again, you got to make sure it's a small jump because you got to get under this cobby as well. And then from here, we want to land on pretty much one of these 2 Raybows, and we just want to roll under these cobbies. And we're going to do, we can roll all the way to this Raybow. In fact, you can roll to this one as well. It doesn't really matter. But we need to jump between these 2 Bs. And then from here, we really only need to go over like one more enemy, which is going to be this one right here. So this one is kind of just directly in the center of the stage. And again, we need to do a pretty small jump here. So this needs to be like approximately a min height jump. Because if you jump too high, you're going to go into this B. So again, let's just see that one more time. When we're coming down from here, we're going to do a roll across these to get under the cobbies, and we're going to do a small jump, little flap, and then we're going to do kind of like a min height jump. And then it's pretty much just like one more jump. If you crash into this B, this is really no big deal because this B will just knock you onto the platform and you can still finish the stage from there. But if you get over this B, it's even better. And from there, you finish the level. And you can dance it out, of course, celebrate your victory over the Raybow, and you can continue the run. So that's pretty much how it goes. Let's just watch it one more time. So get speed, shell jump, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over the B, one more jump, roll under, small jump, roll, and then boost, over the pip wheel, bounce, jump off the platform, roll, small jump, and into the goal. That's pretty much it. So main thing with this level is just you need to practice it a lot. Like this level takes a ton of practice. These strats are pretty consistent if everything goes right. It's not that hard to execute, but really you need to practice it a lot so that you can really memorize where all of the enemy positions are. And especially knowing even where the Raybow positions are is really helpful. So like knowing that there are gaps in the formation is really helpful. These gaps are not random, they're consistent. But like, for example, knowing that there is a gap right here. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've fallen down this gap. And just knowing that this gap is here is really helpful. There's a gap here. And there is another one near the end. Like, there's a gap here, and there's an enemy there. So, like, knowing these things, when you've played this level a lot, knowing exactly where the enemies are going to be and then knowing exactly where the Raybows are going to be and where they're not going to be is extremely helpful. So lots and lots of practice for this stage is really kind of what makes it work. Okay, so that's pretty much what I got. Alright, before wrapping up this video, just want to go through a few other options that can really help accelerate your practice. So, like I mentioned, first of all, you really want to make sure that your glide button is on something other than jump or attack, like I said. So, I know it's really difficult to transition to new controls, but I promise you this will pay off in the long run. I know it's tough, but it's totally worth it. And in addition to that, having a quick retry button is really helpful for optimizing your attempts. If you're just going for like the perfect run, and whenever something goes wrong, just hit this button and restart. You don't have to go to the menu to retry. This is definitely worth having. And then other than that, gameplay options, make sure that this is on, make sure that this is off. Celeste players, you know what I'm talking about. But assistant modifiers, there's a lot of really helpful stuff in here for practicing, most notably this. If you are just trying to practice kind of hitting the strat and you're not trying to kind of mess around in the level after you mess up, anytime you take damage, this just resets you. You keep both of your buddies. This is really helpful. Use Soul Link. It's great for practice. It's also legal for ILs, so you can record your ILs with Soul Link on in any level where you're not using a damage boost. This is very helpful. Disable checkpoints is also allowed. You're not really going to need it in this level because you shouldn't really be going anywhere near the checkpoint, but it is allowed. And then these two can also be helpful, not really in this level, but they can be helpful. You can't use them during the IL, but they are very helpful for practice. So I just think a lot of people don't really take advantage of these, and they're super helpful for practice. They can really kind of optimize your practice. So definitely just go through this menu and take advantage of these, even slowing down the game speed. Actually, when I was learning this level, I did turn down the game speed and try and play it at 50%, a fair amount. So this can actually really be useful. So just wanted to point out, this menu is here. Take advantage of it. It's really helpful for learning. Alright, that's about it. That's all I wanted to say. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.